To defeat an enemy, you must know them. Not just their battle tactics, but their history, philosophy, art. Welcome to the Chiss Ascendancy podcast.
Oh, yeah. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to
The Chiss Ascendancy.
Last week was episode 68, and so if you're good at counting, today is... All right, everyone's favorite number.
I've been looking forward to this for weeks.
For
weeks.
Just so you guys know, for the last probably 12 weeks, Samuel's been like 12 weeks away.
When we got to episode 65, I was like, guys, it's almost here. It's just around the corner.
Samuel every week has been racking his teeth going, almost there. Almost there. Pull up. Almost there. 69. Yeah.
Oh, I legitimately went and worked ahead of time to pull that video up so that we would have it for this week.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. All right, well, everyone, welcome back to the Chiss Ascendancy, episode 69. This one's called Everyone's Favorite.
Everyone's favorite.
And we're going to get into everyone's favorite things about Star Wars. And so... Hey,
That's a much cleaner transition than I bet you perverts were hoping for, huh?
Yeah. What are you, some kind of wild animal?
Yeah, sickos.
Sicko.
That is not a toy.
So, this is a little bit of newsy news on the personal front. Sambo over here, Sambo Slice.
Yeah, the Chiss fans are going to be the first one. I haven't even put this on my Facebook, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, is this okay?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
I haven't not said it for a reason.
I
think I said that
right. Samuel is going to, we're based out of Houston, Texas, and a week from when this episode airs on the 24th, Samuel is moving up to old Tulsa, Oklahoma. Samuel graduated from Oral Roberts University, and he is getting ready to move up there and take on a full-time ministry position at the biggest Methodist church in Oklahoma?
That's right.
So that's exciting. Obviously, those of you who listen to the show probably know a lot about us, but I'm in full-time ministry, and so Samuel for the last year has just been kind of, he's been a full-time staff member, doing basically just working his butt off, and there's a verse in 2 Peter 3:9 that says, "The Lord is not slow in keeping his promises, as some understand slowness. Instead, he is patient with you." And so Samuel's been waiting a long time for this, so we want to say congrats to Samuel.
Man.
And
Cheers,
for those of you who are peeing your pants wondering what's going to happen to the Chiss Ascendancy, we'll still be here.
The episode after episode 69, also known as episode 70, but we keep track of all episodes. Episode 69 is going to be BBY from now on.
Yep. So
before episode 69, after episode 69. That's how we're keeping track of time.
A69.
Yeah, but it's going to happen.
So when Samuel moves, we're going to keep the show going. So don't worry, guys. We are not leaving you. We're not abandoning you, and we're not moving to Octo, although that goes completely against what our character would normally do anyway. But we're going to still be around. We're working through some kinks. If you guys are listening and any of you guys have any tech savviness, we want to keep the show going. And the easiest thing, obviously, is to move to audio platforms only. But we have a lot of friends and family and people we've gotten to know through the podcast that have found us via YouTube and prefer to watch that way. And it's fun because when we're joking around, you get to kind of be in the conversation with us.
Yeah,
and
a
so
little bit more.
our idea is for Adam and I are still living in Houston, and so we're still going to be holding things down on this end, and we're going to try to find a way to do video call and still keep a lot of the magic alive as far as graphics and stuff like that. So if you guys have any tips or tricks, please feel free to let us know.
Yeah, we're not too proud to take help.
No, not at all. Or money. You can send us money.
Gifts?
If you are one of those people, we can send you a bag of water for healing or whatever, you know.
I will pray.
Not that we actually believe in
I will
those.
pray over a dish rag and send it to you direct mail.
Yeah. Here's a piece of my shirt. I'll cut out whatever parts you want. I'll cut the shirt and send it to you.
This is the shirt that will come off.
But anyways.
The proverbial shirt.
Yeah. So we're sad, but we're happy for Sambo. And Samuel's excited. And so a new season of life and a new season for the Chiss Ascendancy. So it'll be fun, though. I think this is one way for maybe getting Adam a little bit more FaceTime. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, excellent.
And so today...
I don't know what word I just said. I went to say excellent, then absolutely, and it came out axily.
Axily.
But that's where my heart is. Axily.
And so first things first, we'll get some
Said
newsy
it and I
news,
meant it.
personal news out of the way, and now some Star Wars newsy news.
Yeah.
So something that came down that we found out about, apparently it's been going on for a little bit of while, but something that is fresh to fans is that Dave Filoni is officially an executive creator for Lucasfilm, and he's next to John Knoll and Doug Chang, who have been around for a long time. I think John Knoll has been around, I want to say since the Phantom Menace. If you watch that documentary, the beginning, you know where where I think George Lucas is showing Steven Spielberg a droid, a battle droid,
Yeah,
and he's
there's
like,
a B1 out there
"This is the new
that
stormtrooper,"
lineup.
and then he grabs it, and the arm just falls off, and he's like, "Obviously, you know, it's just a prop." But in that
It's funny
documentary,
because you can tell he's a little bit embarrassed that
Right.
it did that, even though it has no bearing on how effective it'll be on screen.
right,
That's really funny to me.
yeah, but it's
It's
pretty
just
cool.
like it shows how real it is to George. You know what I mean?
I can't remember what the word is. If it's like fantastic, I think it's fantastic. But George and Steven Spielberg go back and forth. We'll have to do an episode about that documentary eventually because it's so full of good
It
stuff.
is so good.
But he's like, "Wow, fantastic!" And George's like, "Yeah, it's gonna be. I think it's excellent. Wow, that looks excellent. It's gonna be excellent. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, it's gonna be great." That's like there's like two sentences that go that way between him and Spielberg.
That's really funny, man.
But so you can see that John Knoll is around during all that, helping get a lot of that stuff done. He's in the room where George has the famous yellow and pink highlighters. This is real. This is CGI. This is real. This is real. This is real. This is CGI. And he's like a whiz just going down the line. And then eventually he goes, "This is real." And he hits it with a CGI marker. And he goes, "No."
He's so upset. But I think it was cool. He had good humor about
and
it.
everybody's
Everybody was
like,
joking.
"Oh!"
Yeah.
It reminded me of when that jokester, it's like, "She cost a $5. I had a dinner." Everybody was like, "Ah!"
There was only one barmaid for every man.
Oh man, I love that little YouTube video. So that's exciting. So he'll be lurking on Doug Chang as well, who is, they've worked together, but Doug Chang's also executive creator. And Doug Chang is an amazing artist. He is kind of the modern Ralph McQuarrie. He's come up with a lot of the conceptual stuff. He's the guy that these directors and writers are like, so here's kind of what I'm thinking. And Doug Chang really brings those things to life.
Right. Well, and it's great to have like those practical experts alongside like the brainchild expert. You know what I mean? Like he has all the knowledge and all the care about Star Wars.
One thing that's really cool is that I don't know as much about Knoll, but I know Doug Chang and Dave Filoni are both super. Obviously, Doug Chang's a super great artist, but Filoni's a great artist in his right. So I think but them working together, exactly what they're seeing in their mind is what you're going to see on screen.
Yeah, I'm excited.
You know
for
what I'm
it.
saying?
Yeah, I think Star Wars content's gonna be phenomenal.
Yeah, I agree. So that's really good. That's a step in the right direction. I think that Star Wars under Disney has been good. I think that obviously, no matter what, even if George was still in charge, People hated the prequels when they came out. And now that George is gone, it's kind of like, the prodigal son. And you're like, wow, even...
Well, I think initially they had a pretty warm reception, and then I think as people
it's
chance
the...
to talk
I
about
think
them.
it was the earliest feeling that we get from when you go home liking a movie and then you watch a YouTube review and everyone hates it. It was kind of the birth of that because Star Wars was so groundbreaking when it came out in the 70s and stuff that everybody was on board, but it became popular to hate things, I guess, in the early 2000s. And so even if George...
It's the spillover for all that 90s angst.
Yeah. All that awkwardness just turned into rage. So, yeah, exactly.
What if I wear this, instead of a hat, I wear a visor? And what if I wear it backwards and upside down? That's the kind of brains that we're working with here, man.
Yeah, exactly. But, yeah, so I think it's going to be good stuff. I think that Filoni's the closest you can get to having George on set.
Absolutely.
And so to have him...
Hopefully Jon Favreau gets the up and up as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think that he has...
He's definitely proven himself, in my opinion.
Well, the cool thing is that Filoni's one of those guys that now, if he's an executive creator, I assume that he basically is on board for every project he's got to say. And I think that it's just the little things. It's just the little stuff of what does and doesn't make Star Wars sense from someone who learned from George Lucas himself.
Yeah.
And spent a lot of time with him,
Yeah.
Not Jon Favreau. Dave Filoni is the son that knows more about the father than the actual kid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's interesting, and so I'm excited for that. And it'll be fun to, there's a lot of stuff that happened in the live action movies where Ryan Johnson's probably a more hardcore Star Wars fan than someone like J.J. Abrams. And so even though I like J.J.'s films more, there are definitely things in there that I'm like, that doesn't really make Star Wars sense per se. And Filoni's the guy that can go, no, I wouldn't do that. That's not.
Well, it's kind of like I'm just really surprised. So I'm re-listening through Dark Lords of the Sith in my free time by Paul Kemp, and I was just staggered.
I think it's Lords of the Sith.
It is what I want it to be. And for now, it's Dark Lords of the Sith.
It's my night.
Anyway, that's less of a mistake than what the author made, which I'm about to discuss. And I was listening to it, and one of the Imperial Guards is a clone that had, made it through, I guess, everything that had gone on to become a Royal Guard, which is a strenuous process, I imagine.
Right.
And it was talking about the memories that seeing his face brought up for Vader. And it was talking about, Rex, Cody, sixes. And I was like, sixes? Who the frick is sixes? And I was like,
the Antichrist clone.
I was like, is it fives? Like, did they mean fives? And so I asked Josiah, I was like, I'm like 85% on this just off the top of my head. And he looked it up, and it was mistakenly referred to as sixes, but he was talking about fives. And I was just like, I'm surprised that nobody caught that. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just feel like it probably should have gone through a more strenuous
definitely
filtering process. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That was strange. Sixes.
Yeah.
It's like this clone
like
came
you can tell
Kim and Owens.
He definitely didn't watch
the
Clone Wars.
The Kim and Owens are like, now this clone came out with horns and a tail. Sixes.
CT 6669.
Yeah. And then another newsy news is Rangers of the New Republic. You remember that? That was supposed to come out. So, of course, Cara Dune was going to be kind of the main character. And, of course...
I was curious how that was going to...
You can't have that.
Shimmy out.
And so, word on the street is that it is no longer in active development. So, it's been shut down, essentially. This could be one of two things, in my opinion. I'll prophesy here for a second.
More content for Kenobi.
Well, it could be one of two things. It could be one, okay, here's my thought.
Kenobi.
Disney doesn't need to slow down or stop for anyone because they have an endless amount of cash. And so it's not like there's a hiccup where it's like, oh, we ran out of money for a second before we're like, other shows that can happen.
Yeah.
You know, the Breaking Bad episode where they have the fly. You ever seen that show? Or you ever seen that episode?
How far into the show is it?
Pretty far. No?
No. I think I trailed off after like season 3.
Okay, so there's an episode where it's just Jesse and Heisenberg, and there's a fly. in the place where they're cooking, and basically Walt's like, we can't cook until we kill this fly. It's a contaminant. And the place they're working in is supposed to be like vacuum sealed and stuff, so there's not supposed to be stuff to get in there. Long story short,
that after they're working for?
Well, I don't want to say specifics just in case someone's happened to have started Breaking Bad today.
It's been out for like what 12?
Okay, so they're working for the chicken guy. They're working for Moff Gideon.
Yeah. They're in the vault
underneath the car wash.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. Okay. So the reason they did that is because their budget was tight, and they can afford Jesse and Heisenberg's pay, and the crew, but no other actors. So that was that's what a filler really is. Is we just need to fill the gap while we're waiting for our finances to renew or whatever. So, long story short, all that to say, Disney does not have those issues.
Right.
So my thought is,
and yet here we have D Squad.
Either LOL.
Real quick, while we're talking about Lords of the Sith in episode 69, one of the Imperial royal guards, his name is Deez. So literally every time they talk about him, they're like, Deez, and I was like, Deez nuts. I'm in my room by myself, and I'm like, got him.
What if Vader's like, Deez? I'm sorry.
The one time he ever laughs.
Yeah. Palpatine's like,
Palpatine laughs.
Hang on a second.
Plenty.
His name is Deez.
Gotta love it.
But my thought is, this is kind of crazy, but this is something that I can see happening if someone like a Filoni or Favreau is trying to pull some strings. I think maybe they're in talks to try to bring Homegirl back.
Kara?
You think so?
I don't know.
I know that Jon
Favreau was not a fan of that. And I don't think Filoni was a fan of cutting her loose. I think maybe if it fizzles out like that, I mean, because it was a hot button issue for a while, you know what I mean?
Right.
Nobody's talking about it anymore.
Well, also, the other thing that I'm thinking of is either that or they're just trying to find the right actress to play Hera Syndulla, because that was the other option. Was if Kara was cut loose, Hera Syndulla would be
make
the
sense
squad
to me.
leader. So it's one of those two, is my guess.
I hope that
Also, the show to me was like lowest on my list of excitement.
Yeah,
in all honesty,
I'm not a huge fan of the Ahsoka adaptation for live action, so I'm just hoping if they do.
I thought we weren't doing our unpopular opinions episode yet. Zing.
Like another, Twi'lek or that type species that they would,
Oh,
nail it.
okay. I see what you're saying.
I
see what you're saying. I thought you meant you weren't excited for the Ahsoka show.
The acting was fine, I thought.
You're saying her head tails, you didn't like her head tails.
Yeah, I just didn't like the way. I felt like there were some corners that maybe were cut in that episode.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. One thing that...
I think the fight choreography, for one, was, significantly lower in that particular episode than it had been up in the series to that point.
Because of Rosario Dawson's acting capability, or...
I'm not going to point any fingers, cast any aspersions, but I you know what I mean? It felt kind of cheap at some spots.
Yeah, I think
that being said, I hope if they do move forward with the Hera Syndulla adaptation that they'll not do that.
Yeah, my hope is if Hera's going to be there, you guys better bring my boy Zeb along.
I thought you were going to say Bib Fortuna, and I was here for it.
Bib Fortuna's dead.
Maybe.
He's for sure dead.
In the Rebels timeline, though, right?
No.
Rangers of the New Republic. Okay.
Maybe
we can have some flashbacks.
Rangers of the Republic,
some action on Ryloth.
I would rather have a Cobb Vanth show where he's being a crazy lawman on Tatooine.
I would love that.
Or somewhere else. That would be sick.
I think the only reason that wouldn't happen is because The Mandalorian already has all the Western vibes.
That's true.
You know what I mean? I feel like that.
And Boba has his armor back.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. So let's review Bad Batch real quick before we get into the
right.
the nitty gritty of the episode. So we were in episode, what was it, 4?
Yes.
And man, I cannot recall the name of the episode. So basically, the idea is that they need to get supplies, and they have to stop and land on Pantora, I want to say.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. I would have
Cornered is the name of the episode.
I remembered last week's was replacements.
So this was a pretty cool episode. I really like that. I was talking to.
What would you rate this one just on the front?
I didn't like this one as much as I liked last week's.
Okay.
It was good though. There has not been an episode that has come out yet that I've been like, that was okay. I've really liked all the episodes.
Yeah. This one I think is the third highest rated so far. As far
What's
as
last?
Cut and Run, episode 2.
Ah, really? Mm-hmm. I guess that makes some sense. Okay, so do we need to talk about the fact that everybody thinks that Crosshair is going to be the first Death Trooper?
I would love that. I'd love it to death. I think that would be absolutely sick. I don't know why we didn't think Death Troopers before we thought freaking what's it called? The mech suit.
Dark Troopers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Death Troopers make so much more sense, especially since we know from the third Thrawn novel in that closed trilogy that it's they're like genetically altered.
Right.
You know what I mean? That would be way more Kaminoan than a tech suit.
Yeah, definitely. Well, one thing that I was thinking was, man, I just totally lost my train of thought.
Because when I saw, I think you and I talked about it somewhere mid last week about Death Troopers, and I was like, oh my God, that makes so much sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know
what I
mean?
was going to say was there is, when you're in Rogue One and Cassian's reading off all of the different things they're trying to find the Death Star plans, and he's reading all those things. One of the things he says is Warhammer, and Tarkin asks during episode 3, I want to say, of Bad Batch. Narshada? He says, how
it would
is,
have been during replacements.
How is Project Warhammer coming?
Yeah.
And so a lot of people think that Warhammer is the Death Trooper project, and that Crosshair keeps getting more and more changed. And it makes sense if you look at his armor, the visor being green, it's a Phase 3 Clone Trooper helmet, but it just looks more like a Death Trooper.
Do you think they're going to give him the Stretch Armstrong treatment? Because he's going to have to be significantly larger.
Every Death Trooper has to be 6'5" or taller, I want to say.
Right. So, I don't know, maybe they'll get frickin' Mother Talzin involved. Give him the old Savage press.
Well, they could just mechanically.
Yeah.
But that would be crazy, yeah.
I'm just making jokes.
Just have some Sith alchemy going on.
Why not?
So something that's pretty wild is...
I bet Palpatine could pull something like that off.
Oh,
it's my understanding that he's supposed to be like one of the stronger Sith sorcerers.
He's the strongest everything. Let's just be honest. I can't think of anything...
He's a pretty well-rounded Sith. But
I was going to say, I can't think of anything that's like necessarily a weakness besides pride.
Yeah, that's just the dark side, man.
Yeah. Like, his lightsaber dueling is amazing. His Sith lightning is on par with Bane.
Rule of 2, baby.
His... that's his weakness?
No, I'm saying...
Oh, yeah.
That's what the Rule of 2 is all about.
Yeah.
That he would be
He's the cream of the crop.
The amalgamation.
Yeah.
Of everything that Bane wanted.
So I think it would be pretty cool. It would be a really crazy plot twist. Because Star Wars is all about a good character going bad and then being redeemed. It would be kind of a cool plot twist if they go back to try to save him and he doesn't want to be saved because he's a Death Trooper now.
Well, and I honestly don't think even without the modifications that he would be talked around.
He would have to have his chip removed by force.
Even if the chip's removed, I don't think he would come around. He was already hyper aggressive. He was already a lot more rigid. I think he would favor the Empire more than Rebellion. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I agree. But I wonder if for someone, okay, like for instance, when Rex, even though he's like the much gentler, more kinder guy, he was being bent basically against his will to try to attack Ahsoka. And then once the chip was removed, he kind of came to his senses. I wonder if he's aggressive enough that if they say they take his chip out and then they explain to him, hey, you've been, does that make sense?
Well,
like,
let's put it this way.
If they show him how manipulated he's been, he may...
I think
buck the system.
He is the only clone that would have done Order 66 without the chip.
Because he hated the Jedi, or what?
Because he's that dedicated to following the strict structure of things, because the chip theoretically did malfunction. You know what I mean? Like, they had to enhance it so that it would make him a little bit more aggressive, make him a little bit more compliant with the Imperial rules.
Yeah.
So it already wasn't functioning, and he still complied with Order 66 without even knowing what it was.
Well, I think
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it's both. I think that he is more aggressive, but he also, it seems like the chip was working in him more than it worked in any of the other Bad Batch characters, and that's why they're able to.
I think naturally he's the least deviant,
right,
from what a clone should be.
Well, I think like if you look at Hunter, he didn't respond at all.
Right.
And they would have had to enhance his.
Like, Wrecker was completely confused. Tech was completely over it. Obviously, Echo's on a whole other planet.
Yeah. Hey, okay, so that kind of is a cool. I wanted to say something cool about his outfit.
Hey,
but that just takes us back to.
He won me back a little bit. Kawhi Leonard. I'm going to say it. I thought his outfit was sick. His little droid costume.
Yeah.
He looked like Zero from Borderlands 2.
So, overall thoughts on this episode?
I enjoyed it. I wish it was a little bit longer.
Every week.
I thought it was funny that they kind of brought the whole protocol droid thing back into Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, just the droid action had kind of been missing for an average Star Wars show.
Yeah. I really liked that droid that was like a mixture of an astromech and a gonk. Mm-hmm. That was a cool droid. I would buy the crap out of that toy.
I was curious if they were going to show like a Chopper in a past life in that little droid collection. I thought it was cool to see. I don't know what Nia Nub species is, but I'd never seen another one.
Yeah.
In a different kind of role.
Also, it's crazy how between different legends and books and stuff like that, that guy, the Celestin that we saw from Bad Batch, could speak Basic, but Nia Nub can't speak Basic. And I'm re-listening to the Fate of the Jedi series, and Mark Thompson calls him Nia Numba.
That makes sense.
So, overall thoughts. So, the concept is they need to get supplies.
Real quick, say something about him.
Who, Nia Num?
Yeah.
What about him? Can you hear it? So, they have to get supplies. They stop. I was talking to Skeleton Astronaut about this, and he made a really good point that he was very pleased with the fact that,
oh my God.
I
just remembered something. I'll share in a moment.
In most of Clone Wars and in pretty much all of Rebels, when the crew goes somewhere, you stay in a very confined space so that you don't have to see that much stuff. Mm-hmm. It doesn't take that much cost to animate a small space. And they really pulled out all the stops at the end of Clone Wars and so far in Bad Batch where they're showing you like wide swaths of these places that they're going. Mm-hmm. So when they first get into Pantora's atmosphere, you see like the whole planetscape, which is really, really cool. Yeah. Obviously, it was a good episode. It continues to build the bond. Obviously, the strongest bond on the crew.
I thought,
but for Omega is with Hunter.
Yeah, for sure. I thought Finnick was cool. Yeah, I liked her character a lot more than I was expecting to up front, knowing she would be in the show. Mm-hmm. I thought it was cool that she had more of a like neutral, leaning towards the good side of things. Like she honored her agreement with fake Nia Nub.
Yeah.
I think she's working for the Kaminoans. I know you think she's working with another bounty hunter.
Well, I don't know that for sure. I just was wondering.
Yeah. I think she was just too focused on being like really nice to Omega and like making sure she was like completely undamaged. You know what I mean? If she I think if it was anybody but the Kaminoans, they wouldn't care that much.
That's true. That is true.
I don't like how easily she beat Wrecker. I feel like a bonk on the head through a helmet with a guy that literally punched a hole through a Durasteel wall with his bare hand. I feel like that shouldn't incapacitate him, but here we are.
Yeah, the storyline called for it.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but I hate it.
Yeah. If I nitpick, I will hate everything, so... But
I have to hold them to a higher standard.
I thought it was pretty good. I thought that
overall I really enjoyed the episode.
The person that I have the hardest time liking on this show so far had been Echo. Mm-hmm. Echo had some cool stuff. I'm really waiting for Tech to do something cool, and I'm realizing that these characters what is lovable about them is them as a group. Mm-hmm. They're not really. Wrecker is kind of like a big lovable dummy, so like you get like kind of Shrek vibes from him. Hunter,
I think Shrek has a lot more awareness of what's going on.
That's true.
Than Wrecker does.
I guess it's kind of like
I don't think Wrecker has the wherewithal to establish a swamp. Let's put it that way.
Who's the guy that saves Cusco from Emperor's New Groove?
I forget his name. Do you remember his name? I like that movie, but I don't watch it religiously.
Yeah, but Wrecker reminds me of that guy where he's like kind of oblivious to what's going on around him.
Oh, you're thinking of the one that works with the villain, not the guy that lives in the village. The guy that lives in the village is also too aware. You're thinking of Gronk.
No, I'm not thinking of him. Not the one that works for Yzma.
The other one's too smart.
I'm just saying the
one that's voiced by Fred Flintstone?
Yes. I know what you're saying. I'm just saying he is somewhat not aware of everything going on. Like his whole land being taken from him and stuff.
I'm just trying to think of a...
There's not really a character... Okay, if you watch the Nest animated classics of the Bible... Quiche is the one I'm thinking of. Okay, that's obviously a super mega niche, but whatever.
Also, I think Quiche was the clever one with the cool knife.
I understand, but you know what I'm saying. But
let's say he's Babs from Chicken Run.
Come on. Okay, the one that I'm having a hard time connecting with,
the really big white rat from Flushed Away.
Yeah. The guy from Bugs Bunny that's from South Park, Mimsy.
Shut up, Mimsy.
Shut up, Mimsy. Who cares about water bears? Okay, so all that to say, Tech is the one that I can't connect with. I really like Tech, but I keep getting pissed off when he's like, "Oh, I thought everything was obvious. Oh, why wouldn't you see this? Why wouldn't you?" Like, guy, how old are you? You've been around these guys your entire life, literally since a freaking egg in a glass sack somewhere, and you freaking like this has been your life the entire time. Everybody knows that you know everything. Be a little bit more self-aware. It's almost like he's as dumb as Wrecker in a smart way.
Yeah, I think that's just the pitfall of a lot of intelligent people.
It's no excuse. Straighten up.
Everybody's bad at something. His is including others in his thoughts.
I know. It's just it's making me. It's hard to connect to the guy.
I get that.
So what was your standout moment?
Honestly, the thing I was fixated on the most was Echo's sick outfit.
Yeah,
I thought it looked super freaking cool.
That was probably my favorite thing too. So
that's a stupid thing to have a standout thing. It was a really good episode overall, but that was the thing I was the most excited about.
I really liked all of the vehicles, and I thought it was cool that their space police motorcycles looked like Dooku's little
that was cool.
Motorcycle speeder.
The thing I said, oh my god, about earlier was I just remembered a dream I had where there were Chiss characters in the Bad Batch.
Oh, well, Pantorians.
Yeah, I had a dream about it though. That was my dream. That they were.
Dude, what if Jackson made an appearance?
What would have been cool though is that even if it was just like in the background, because I remember Thrawn.
I got a job for you guys.
And the novel Thrawn went undercover in public as a Pantorian. He just wore glasses so that he would blend in better. He wore like sunglasses where he went.
Yeah.
I thought that would have been cool if they would showed him in the background.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Like just wearing sunglasses, going undercover, figuring things out.
You know what? I had the exact same thought now that you're mentioning it. I was thinking.
That would have been super cool.
Oh my God, what if Thrawn's here? Yeah.
That's where my mind goes. First time, every time.
Okay, so the new standout character is obviously Finnick Shand. She's working for someone trying to get Omega.
Yeah, I think she'll probably disappear for an episode or two.
Maybe.
But I think they did a really good job establishing her. I think she's a really well-rounded character so far.
And it was interesting that whenever they left at the end of the episode, she was like, Target got away, but this, and this. I don't know. The reason I thought maybe she was working with someone else was because the casualty with which she reported in.
Yeah, but she's a professional. You know what I mean? I think like the better bounty hunter you are, the less deference you're going to show to your person because you're like, this is just another person.
Hey, but why would you I don't know. It seems kind of weird that you would. I mean, it makes a lot of sense that she's working directly for the Kaminoans, but it seems weird to me that she would. Why would you report in when you didn't have somebody yet?
I think they just expect
check-ins.
Yeah, she's definitely not a Nemoidian.
Nothing to report.
Nothing to report.
If she is working with someone, it's probably not Boba Fett because that's too reminiscent of Book of Boba Fett and The Mandalorian.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't think they cross paths until Mando.
Right.
I really think she's in direct employ for the Kaminoans.
Probably. I'm just really looking for a reason for Cad Bane or Dirge to show up.
Dirge would be sick, but yeah, he
Or
really has no stake in the game. It also makes sense to me that the Kaminoans would hire out to a bounty hunter because they're trying to keep the fact that Omega is an alter clone private from the Imperials, and they want to recover her because she's an important asset.
There's something that they're working on that they don't want the Empire to know to keep
There's
them.
nobody else I can think about who even knows that Omega exists and would take an interest in her except for the Kaminoans.
That's true.
Because that was like a super tight secret. Even the clones didn't know about her, you know?
I think the reason she's so important is because I think one of the reasons that her name is Omega is because she's the last, to me, she seems like the last of that first, I know that there's older clones, but that first grouping of clones, because the Kaminoans are talking about how Jango Fett's DNA is degrading.
Do you think she is age modified, that she'll age more quickly, or do you think she's more like Boba Fett?
She may be like Boba.
That's what I think.
And therefore, her tissue is more usable
more
to
pure.
create the next round of clones.
I think that's probably the case.
That's probably what it is. She may be as old as the rest of the Clone Force 99, but
yeah,
they're 10 years old, but they're 20.
Right.
And she's 10 years old, but she's 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I don't think she has any age acceleration.
Yeah. She doesn't seem roided out or like over the top athletic.
Well, and I think she seems like she's had a lot of time to develop to be where she's at mentally, that right age. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that they would really think through all those details for a cartoon character, but maybe I'm just reading too much into it.
Filoni's involved, so they definitely have something going on. Okay, so rate it 1 to 10. I'll give it a 8.
Yeah, I guess 7.5.
Yeah,
7.5, 8.
something like that. All right, so episode 1's obviously
5 from Adam. That's a low rating.
Really?
Didn't enjoy
it. Is
it.
this your least favorite episode so far?
No, I think 2 is still kind of low, but the tie between this storyline and the Mando storyline they're kind of very similar to me. Does that make sense? Like the little kid, the big bad guys are taking care of the little kid. That type of thing, just I don't know.
It seems repetitive.
Yeah. I think the main reason they have the Omega character in general is just to keep this particular show accessible to like the younger audience. Sure. But I can get where you're coming from.
Yeah. I do think that obviously they have the whole seasons already ready to go.
Yeah, I'm just impatient to see where they're going because I'm not going to know for the longest time.
Right. I'm sure that the path is going to be completely different because I'm sure they're thinking don't do the exact same. But yes, it does feel very similar. A bounty hunter is trying to catch this kid that a cloning facilities. It's pretty the same. One has Werner Herzog, one doesn't.
Hey, I saw a funny meme where it was that scene in Rise of Skywalker, the Be With Me scene, my favorite scene of the movie. And all the Jedi are talking to Rey, and they're like, let the Force guide you, the light is with you. And then it was Mace Windu, and he's like, but we still don't grant you the rank of Master. I thought that was so funny, dude.
Oh,
that's really good.
That's so funny. Dude, okay, so what is next?
I think they're going to shelve the Finnick Shand part. I really think this is going to end up playing out kind of like the A-Team. They go to different planets. They have like a little, side mission, and then they're gradually just chiseling away at the main story.
Okay, so that makes Hunter Hannibal, Mr. T is Wrecker.
Obviously.
I guess
Echo would be Murdoch.
Would be Crazy Murdoch, and then Tech is Face.
I would say that Crosshair would be Face on a good day. But, that does leave Tech being Face. Maybe there's some brilliant blue eyes underneath those goggles.
And glasses.
Yeah.
Dude, one of these episodes, he's going to have his glasses on, his visor down, and he's going to be using binoculars, and we're going to lose our minds.
And then we're going to find out that we're actually watching the Chronicles of Riddick, not the Bad Batch.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. All right, well, so I think you're right. I think they're going to go from place to place. I think that the mission will end up being how do we save Crosshair from himself and the evil empire?
And I think a lot of it's also going to lend to the idea of like what's their place now in the galaxy.
Hey, I have an idea. Mm-hmm. Y'all write this down just in case this happens. My favorite part of Battlefront 2, Adam's really got paper. My favorite part from Battlefront 2, the old one, is when you can play
look over there and he's just scribbling 69. Like freaking the 27 with Jim Carrey, but it's just 69 all over the paper.
My favorite mission from Battlefront 2 is when you play as Boba Fett and you shut down a clone uprising on Kamino.
Or is it 23?
23.
It's 23.
How freaking sick would it be if there's a clone uprising on Kamino?
I would like
and
to see
Boba Fett goes in to shut it down.
if they pull Dirge in.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, to like exterminate like maybe rogue clones.
Yeah.
He has all the makings. That'd be sick.
Yeah. If they're Kaminoan property and they're useless, just burn them out.
Burn it down.
Burn it down. Yeah. So, Samuel,
now that we've warmed up the episode for 40 minutes, on to the content.
Why don't you tell the folks at home what tonight's episode's about?
Just the salt of the earth, really. This is basically the Battle of Yavin for the Chiss Ascendancy, so you go ahead and write that down. I thought that one of the funniest parts of that little video that we played at the beginning where he's like, everyone's favorite number. So to keep things relatively clean while we walk that line very carefully, we would just talk about some of our favorite things that are goofy because, the number 69s in pop culture is just a big joke. I think it's had a lot of traction over the last 4 decades. So similar to Star Wars. So
Where'd you come up with 4 decades? Nobody did anything but regular until 40 years ago.
I'm talking about the pop culture reference.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I feel like that's relatively recent, but not so inaccessible. So I just wanted to, what's the cleaner version of shoot the poop? Just goof around. I like talking about Star Wars, but there's funny bits about Star Wars. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right. So, what's your favorite Star Wars joke? I'm just kidding. I think the one of the funniest or one of the most endearing parts. I had a friend the other day tell me like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't like Star Wars, and I was like, well, you're not a man of culture, you wouldn't understand. But I was telling him, I don't care that you broke your elbow. I was telling him, here's one of the things is that I've been in this fight since I was 6 years old. And so it's so much bigger than just the movies.
Right.
And, one of the funnest parts of Star Wars is the goofiness. I know we already did an episode about the goofy side of Star Wars, but...
I feel like Marvel movies, for instance.
Uh-huh.
Like superhero movies for the most part, or superhero anything, had kind of been like a little bit more stoic. It's very good versus evil, but here recently,
more
I think,
Batman-y.
especially like with the Guardians of the Galaxy in particular, kind of set
Which
the trend
are my favorites.
Of like comedy with the action.
Yeah.
And,
or Thor Ragnarok was kind of like that too.
And I never really saw that in Star Wars until I got older and I was able to appreciate the little more nuanced jokes. But like the prequels in particular kind of really set the tone for, a balance of like almost a little bit of realism through humor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like where Anakin and Obi-Wan are kind of talking about R2-D2 and it's a sore subject for Anakin.
I didn't say
anything. And Obi-Wan's like, I didn't say anything. I think that's, you know what I mean? Like it's a little bit of human interaction realism with like a little bit of humor in there.
What joke gets me, the older I get, it's funnier to me, is in episode 1 when Qui-Gon's trying to calm Jar Jar's brain, but there's like if you go out and you're going with your friends to a bar or whatever, the last person to get blackout drunk is the really heavy guy because of the density, and it's a 2-part joke that when Qui-Gon just tries to ease Jar Jar's mind, there's like nothing inside, and it just like knocks him out. And Obi-Wan goes, "I think you overdid it."
You overdid it.
So it's funny because it's kind of like man, Qui-Gon was really annoyed with this guy, but it's also a joke on Jar Jar that there's like just air up there.
Freaking, and then it carries on to Tatooine where freaking Jar Jar's like chameleoning the apples, or I don't know what the frick they have on Tatooine, the fruit off the table. He grabs his tongue.
What the freak is a duck?
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that's just so funny.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. It's just funny because you see George and he's like, all right, today we're filming a dinner scene. You got a pretty good joke. So Jar Jar's going to grab these apples with his tongue. It's very, it kind of reminds me of the humor of, I'm Leroy, he's Leroy behind the camera. There's always something to do.
I love those videos.
You know who Leroy and Leroy are? On Instagram.
We're even more obscure than they are, but if you want to watch something a little bit less obscure than us, look up Leroy on Instagram.
Yeah, so basically...
Freaking great Canadian humor.
It's Canadian humor where they're like in the middle of nowhere.
They go to like small towns and like make fun of different street signs. That's like the whole show, dude.
Their joke is... one guy's name is Leroy, and the guy filming is Leroy. And so he goes, I'm Leroy, he's Leroy behind the camera. There's always something to do.
So they're going around just like finding bullcrap to do.
My favorite street sign, or that he talks about different stuff, but it'll be like, and if you're wondering, you can't have your snow toboggan here. And you look out there, and it's just like a gravel road. But the one that's my favorite is he goes, I think they're in Saskatchewan, but he's like, we're in Saskatchewan today, and this is my favorite street sign ever. And it's an arrow pointing ahead to a question mark, and he goes, we don't know what's ahead.
There's
Leroy, he's Leroy behind the camera. There was always something to do.
It was like an intersection of two dirt roads, and he's like, we're here at the intersection of West Street and West Road. And a place this big, you just run out of street signs names. And then, like, look around, it's like freaking daggum nothing. It was just like maybe one barn.
But yeah, I think the that style of humor is like George's shtick.
Yeah.
But I brought this Jackson figure today because it kind of embodies the craziness.
Question: do you feel like that story in the certain point of view from Empire would have been better if it were shorter?
For Jackson?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen Jackson be more of a... He ends up being a reluctant hero, but I get the idea, but he's been around for so long that he's got to be semi-good at what he does.
Yeah,
I would have liked... Lando is the classic character that's not really that good at what he does, but when the chips are down, he is kind of a crack shot. He is kind of a... I would have liked more of that.
He's good at what he does. He's not good at what he wants to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I would have preferred that same style from Jackson.
I think Jackson, because he's kind of a goofier concept, it's the kind of guy that, like, everything goes wrong.
Dude, this figure is... Yeah, this figure is freaking sick, dude. I got it at GameStop, and I didn't know if I was going to open it or not, but then I looked, and Cash was like, open the rabbit. Open the rabbit. And I look over, and he's biting the box. So I was like, well, I guess I'm going to open it. But yeah.
There goes the value of that card.
Yeah. It's cool. It's in a collectible, like, comic book looking box, too.
Oh, man.
It's okay. I'll get another one. But I really like Jackson because he's kind of symbolic of everything I love about Star Wars. It's just like this random... There's somebody that worked at Marvel Comics back in the 70s, like literally like 78, like the year after Star Wars came out, who was like, you know what this groundbreaking...
He just watched Watership Down.
Never before seen, never heard of, multi-billion, eventually dollar movie series. You know what they need? A character that's named after a line that Bugs Bunny says. And we're not going to make him a rabbit. We'll call him a Leppy. And I guess we'll call his ship the Rabbit's Foot.
It's like...
That's the name of his ship. And then I was looking at this figure, and he's got a freaking mohawk. Isn't that sick?
That's pretty sick. He looks kind of like reptilian, the way his fur is.
Yeah, well, he has green fur.
Yeah, I just mean the texture of it. Looks scaly.
Yeah. I think I could do one of those matte sprays.
Okay, total trilogies. Which one has your favorite dialogue?
Oh my god. Like, out of seriousness, or... The jokes.
Just what is your favorite trilogy for dialogue?
Well, the sequel trilogy has Kylo Ren going, "What girl?"
There's value in every mind, my man.
So, man, it's hard to say. Probably the prequel trilogy, honestly.
Adam, what do you think?
Original
trilogy for dialogue? Yeah. I gotta go with prequels. I think there's the most memes in there, and that's what I live for.
Sure.
Well, there's the most memes, and there's the purest, most thought out Star Wars content because George Lucas knew more what the story was in his mind once he got there, and George wasn't around for the sequels.
I will say the original trilogy has the best dialogue as far as like what's well written conversation. I think
I don't know. Episode 2 has some fantastic
that
dialogue
fireplace
about
scene
sand.
is just
Yeah,
he knows what he wants to say.
Let's get Natalie Portman in the tightest.
Let's talk about the fact that he still landed it. Nobody wants to talk about that. They talk about how stupid he sounds talking about sand and how coarse it is, but nobody wants to acknowledge the fact that he's batting 400. Homeboy did not strike out. Granted,
by the end of Revenge of the Sith, he clearly batted 2,000 because
freaking
twins.
Twins. What the frick is Norbert?
Twin special. What is that from? Dude, yeah, I think that
granted it did take the threat of actual death for her to be like, you know what, balls to the wall. Let's do this thing
before we die. What if he's like, no? I
what he's like,
against
well,
it.
now I'm not doing it.
The funny thing is that, dude, they're on Naboo, okay? Imagine that some chick
I don't know where you're going with
in,
this, but I'm excited because of the setup that you've got.
Just let me paint a picture for you, okay? Imagine, a girl that
you're on Naboo, there's ducks.
Even moderately attracted to, and you guys are hanging out, and you're thinking, man, this chick, she's clearly into me.
Granted, you've met approximately 0 females up to this point. Your only female company up to this point has been your mom.
Yeah. No, I'm speaking if the roles were reversed and I'm Padme, but obviously I'm a guy. So imagine.
Hold on, what?
No, I'm saying
Padme is a guy?
No. I'm saying all three of us are guys.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is
you're assuming that
I've gotten one sentence.
Can we get this guy a dry erase board? I feel like I need you to draw this for me.
The freaking
some tape, some string.
Okay, no.
Some thumbtacks, maybe.
Okay. Imagine I'm trying to bring it down to where we live. Okay. So imagine
Alderaan.
Yes. So imagine if the roles were reversed. Okay. If you're Padme, but obviously we're men.
All right, I'm there.
Okay. So, you're walking around. There's this girl. She's clearly into you. And
wait, we're Padme?
Yeah. No. Okay. Jesus. You are yourself, but put yourself in Padme's situation. Where there's an attractive young lady.
Okay, so Anakin's a girl now.
Correct.
Okay, I'm with you.
Yes, okay. Yeah, and those are the only two genders we have to flip. Everybody else can be themselves, okay? Sheesh. Oh, dude, yesterday in the car.
Can I be frank with you? Well, as long as I can still be Samuel.
I was talking to Wolf yesterday, and somebody cut me off, and I went, sheesh. And Wolf from the back seat goes, sheesh. She's 3. And I looked back, and he was like, so smug. Okay, so here's my thing. My thing about Padme being like, oh, shouldn't have did that. We shouldn't be doing this, Anakin. Imagine you're hanging out with a girl, and you can totally tell she's into you. She's cutting pears, using the Force in front of you. Master Obi will be very, what does he say, cranky?
Cross.
Or
I think he said cross.
No. He says grumpy.
Did he say grumpy?
Yeah. Master Obi
That's so much more
pure. Very grumpy if he saw this. Which, first of all, Get a hamburger, you weaklings. Who eats a pear for a meal?
Yeah, that's a whole meal. I've thought about that since as a kid. I was like, that's not lunch.
At least get some plums. Get something that tastes good.
They just went swimming. Can I get a PB&J and some Cool Ranch Doritos up in this mug?
Can I get a ham, cheese, and mayonnaise sandwich with Doritos in the sandwich, please? Because those slap after you're swimming.
I'm a PB&J man myself.
Also, I'm a little bit concerned about Padme boldface lying about her swimming 5 miles to that local island. That's bullcrap, okay? So imagine you're hanging out and you're thinking, I know Houston, Texas like the back of my hand. I'm going to take you to the sexiest fireplace in town and wear my tightest pants. And then whenever you can't take your eyes off my tight pants and you try to make a move, I'm going to go, whoa, 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 whoa. Shouldn't be doing that. I know we're in front of a sexy fireplace, and I know my pants are tight as the day is long, but my eyes are
and
up
it's
here.
the summer equinox, baby. Longest day of the year.
She's setting homeboy up for so much failure. She's like, hey, I know you're basically a monk, and you shouldn't even know that your genitals exist, but what do you think about these?
Oh, my God.
Dude,
how you like these pears?
Master Open would be very grumpy.
Oh my god.
He starts cutting her with a fork.
Oh, this is off topic, but last week I got Popeyes. You'll know where I'm going when I'm finished.
And chicken breasts? I don't know.
And they put a spork in the bag, and I was like, man, I thought the world quit on these bad boys, but there it was, the last one.
And you're worried if you were in Lord of the Beans.
The last female. Oh, jeez. Oh.
But yeah, I'm just saying that's not fair of Padme to set my boy up like that and be like, what? No. You know? It's kind of like Bill Burr says, you know?
Let's just say it wasn't the first pair of twins. Or maybe it wasn't the last. That Anakin got his mitts on in the Star Wars trilogy. Because he had 2 kids with her. Is where I was going with that. In case it wasn't obvious.
Oh my God. So. Dude, imagine if Padme just felt so bad. What if Padme was like, well, I'm going to get some before I get killed. I don't care if it's with this dweeb over here with the weird sideways ponytail. And so she makes out with Anakin. Then they survive Geonosis. And she's like,
can we talk about
frick.
the fact she was queen of a planet and then married a Padawan? How embarrassing.
How embarrassing. How embarrassing. I can tell you listen, one of my things that I hate the most in the whole world is I don't like being embarrassed in front of people. And it'll like make me do and say things that I shouldn't do or say. And so here's the thing. If I was a Jedi attached to you as your liaison to keep you alive, thank you very much.
Oh, yeah. Your pride would definitely not let you kiss her in the arena.
No, not that. I would definitely have kissed her. But what I'm saying is...
You shut your filthy mouth. I'd have done it.
Yeah. What I'm saying is our relationship would have been cut off the moment that someone was like, so what are your views, Master Jedi? Yeah. And I went out to lay out my sexy, elaborate plan that my Master Jedi mind came up with. And she goes... She says he's just a Padawan learner. Like, you know the first frickin' thing about the Jedi Order, sweet cheeks. Listen, you were a queen at what, 12 years old? You clearly, nobody around here knows what they're doing and freaking electing you.
I'll
What's
tell
worse,
you who
12
did know
years
what they were
old
doing.
or a 90-year-old frickin'...
Oh, it's not canon anymore that Palpatine kind of made that happen.
What, get her elected?
Or I guess, was it Plagueis that was pulling those strings?
Plagueis.
Getting Padme elected? Friends with somebody? I don't remember. Anyway, it was organized by the Sith.
Sounds relevant.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Episode 2 is definitely the one where Anakin gets verbally backhanded the most.
Yeah, dude, frickin'...
Even when he does something great. He makes a great call. He's working side by side with these clones. Never met him before. Mm-hmm. And then Obi-Wan's like, good call, my young Padawan.
Yeah.
Good job, dumb idiot. Pretty good job for a dum-dum. By dum-dum standards, fantastic job.
Wrecker's like, nice! Oh my God, that's so funny. Yeah, so the second that she was like, oh no, he's just a Padawan learner, I would have been like, screw you.
Listen here.
Me and R2 are Audi 5000. Let's see what happens when you wake up with a giant poisonous crawfish in your bed, you dumb idiot.
Yeah, it's not my fault I can't program a droid right to find a bug.
I didn't say anything.
I didn't say anything.
Yeah, the whole episode.
Dude, he's just getting
They're in the
whole
freaking
episode.
elevator, and Obi-Wan's just like making fun of him and like,
Dude, the whole way, bro.
you're nervous, relax. Obi-Wan's like, I've been late 1,000 times. Just calm down. Got a pair of sweet cheeks there on Mandalore. It's the mullet that does it for them.
Yeah, freaking sweet hair, Obi-Wan.
Yeah, where was that? Hey, hopefully he's growing it back out for Tatooine.
Oh, that'd be sick.
Actually, I think he would. If I was him, I would just shave it when it's on Tatooine. But
No, you want the shade.
You want the shade of the hair, huh? Oh man, that's so funny. Man, we just really went down the whole Attack of the Clones line, huh?
Yeah, you know what? That is one of my favorite films. I don't care what anybody says.
I love Attack of the Clones.
I love it.
Dude,
They're all my
Jango Fett
favorite.
was underutilized, which I guess every clone is Jango Fett, so.
Have you seen the thing where Boba Fett's picking up Jango Fett's helmet, but like somebody photoshopped it so the head falls out while he's holding
that's freaking sad as freak.
It really is.
I hope Mandalorian Season 3 opens up and Bo-Katan and that one wrestler chick just get killed like in the first 20 seconds. I think that'll be my favorite thing that's come out since Disney bought Star Wars. If they walk into the Tatooine, into Jabba's, now Boba's palace, and it's just like, and they both die, I'd be like, oh, frick, yeah, let's get this show on the road. Book of Boba Fett. I hate Bo-Katan. I can't stand her.
Will Mace Windu make a reappearance?
No. Mace Windu's not coming back.
Oh,
I really don't think he'll ever come back. Mainly because I don't think Samuel L. Jackson would be interested in coming back.
oh, no. He is 100,000%.
Is he really?
Oh yeah. At a recent Star Wars celebration, they had a bunch of people like call in and do like a Q&A, and he was like, he was live. It wasn't pre-recorded at all, and so he's talking with Kathleen Kennedy, who runs the whole ship,
Right.
and he goes
half a ship.
He goes, he goes, hey Kathleen. I can't do it. Gets any little okay.
Let's just say Josiah's doing an impression of Lando's droid from Rebels.
Lando.
Dude, it's so bad.
So basically, he's like, "Hey, so what's this about?"
Guess whose droid I am?
Dude, so he basically is like, "Hey, so you know the rule: if you don't see the body, the guy ain't dead." And he's like, "When are you bringing me back?" And everybody in the show is going freaking bonkers. And he holds up his lightsaber. And he's like, "I think Mace Windu still got some fight left in him." And they were like, ha, 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 ha. And all the fans are like foaming at the mouth like zombies. Can
Can I get a droid that looks a little bit more like Marvin Gaye?
Oh my god. He has to play like a harmonica for everything he says. So anyways, sir, I saw a cool
Would
picture.
you like that mimosa before or after my next harmonica solo?
I saw a really cool Yaz flute. I saw a cool fan-made
solo.
little collage where it was a picture of, Luke from Mandalorian times. And he says, are you a Jedi? And it was a picture of Mace Windu from Attack of the Clones, but they had added some gray facial hair and like a scar and stuff like that.
A robotic hand.
He says, I was once, now I'm just a survivor. And it was Mace Windu and Luke working together. I don't think that Mace Windu will work with Luke because they need to keep some distance there.
That is one of the things I'm most reticent about with them having all these Jedi that have survived, because it's like, where the frick were they? Like, in my mind, getting us affiliated with Luke would be like top of the list. You know what I mean? You've got like
Oh,
this
yeah.
incredibly powerful Jedi who's obviously doing things right. He was tutored by Obi-Wan and Yoda. Who the freak isn't going to get connected with him? You know what I mean? That survived from the Jedi Order.
Oh, dude. Yeah, they would be coming out of the woodwork to
Right.
either find or try to kill Luke Skywalker.
Right, yeah. I can't
I'm killing you
imagine.
because I hate your dad.
I just cannot imagine that wouldn't happen. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I totally agree. Eventually, yeah, if Luke and Ahsoka are alive in the same timeline, which they obviously are, I don't understand if she's avoiding him.
Yeah, I don't understand
Maybe
that
she's
at all, but
embarrassed. I can see Mace.
basically like her nephew.
If Mace is basically like abandoned the old ways and just hungry for revenge and tries to hunt down Boba.
He was like the most aggressive lightsaber duelist in the Jedi Order, so I could see
he was
where
the only person in Legends. He was the only person to be able to use Vapad without having fallen to the dark side. Because like Sora Bulk fell to the dark side. I think Quinlan Voss tried to start using it, and he was always very susceptible to the dark side.
Yeah, he has a very strong natural bent to the dark side, at least in the comics.
Dude, what if Book of Boba Fett...
Well, yeah, in the Dark Disciple, he kind of had. Yeah.
What if Book of Boba Fett is just him trying to find Mace Windu? I assume Mace Windu's dead, but it'd be cool if he came back.
So that you could see Boba Fett kill him?
Yep.
Not good.
I personally don't think he'll come back, but I'm here for it.
Not Mace Windu. Samuel L. Jackson is definitely on board if they were to want to bring him back around.
I didn't know about that, but yeah. I just don't think it'll happen. But anyway, we're probably out of time now.
When I was a kid, I wrote a book about Boba Fett.
Oh, I remember.
hunting
I helped
down
you set up the voice to type software
right.
back in the day before
That's
it was
right.
prevalent.
I was like, I can't write, but I could talk about it. And I probably would have 20 people buy the book, just like every week 20 people listen to our podcast.
Success, baby.
Is this fame?
Got the little dollar bill signs in your eyeballs.
5 smackaroonies. But yeah, I would say that, man, chances of Mace Windu coming back, slim.
Low.
What if Crosshair kills him in Bad Batch?
Probably also low.
I don't care.
That would be cool. I would like to see him come back. There were a lot of people thinking that he would be the one that rescued Grogu, which was not realistic. But, man, once I heard the rumor that they spread around set, I was real sad. Because the rumor on set was that Plo Koon was
Everybody, I don't know. I don't know why anybody bought into that. But
Well, because you see his plane crash, but he could have ejected or survived.
yeah, but I just don't imagine that would have happened and the clones wouldn't have finished the job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway, we've gone long.
Hey, thank you guys for tuning in. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, share with your family and friends, and don't forget, if you leave us a 5-star rating on iTunes and a written review, we will read it on air. I swear. I promise you. On my kids, we'll do it.
10 for 10 on that, yeah.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much. We'll catch you next week somehow. And don't forget, the Force will be with you always.
And the only family you have here is me.
See y'all next week.